Welcome to the S&D 50 Week 17 Bowl Preview / CFP Round 1 Deep Dive. Spencer, how are you?
Good. I feel like I'm a little sad that college football consumption is down week over week. I can't wait until we start getting 3 or 4 bowl games a day. That's the good stuff.
Jacob, welcome in. How are you?
Doing great, Andrew. And, college football consumption, you're right, Spencer, it is down. I am missing those midweek games. But the transfer portal has opened up. And I saw this post today, just kind of made my day about college football and the beauty of it. I saw that Georgia State's quarterback, TJ Finley, plans to enter the portal. He is the former quarterback of LSU, Auburn, Texas State, Western Kentucky, and Tulane. And he is now
Wait, back that
Then he
up.
went
Is
to
that
Georgia.
even legal?
How many teams is
Then
that?
he went to Georgia State, and he's filing for a 7th year of eligibility. 7 teams, 7 years. That is why I love college football. I am so excited to see where TJ Finley goes next and what he does in his 7th year of eligibility.
For those that are new, this is a show that unbiasedly rates all 136 FBS college football teams. We release the top 50 every single week. Thank you to each and every one of you who subscribe. If you're new, subscribe. It's a great way to support the channel. Let's go through the 2 games that happened last week. First, Army-Navy. This game was not supposed to be competitive. This is number 20 in the S&D 50 playing number 90. But when these 2 teams meet, it is almost always competitive. 7 of the last 10 meetings have been a 1-score game. This one was no different.
I love seeing these 2 teams line up against each other and just play smash mouth football and see who can run it down each other's throat. I also heard this week, and I found it really interesting, especially when it looked like Army was going to win this game. They controlled a large part of this game, and a big penalty that called back a touchdown really hurt them there in the second half. But I heard that both Army and Navy every week take time out of their practices to prepare for this game alone. And that's why trying to pick this game is a nightmare. And when Army was taking control there in the middle part of that game, I actually was thinking, man, I think Army just does a better job of preparing year round for Navy. But we saw what Navy was able to do there. Blake Horvath gets this swan song game against Army and gets that win to go down as one of the Navy great QBs.
I would call this the Eli Heidenreich game. This is a wide receiver for Navy. Navy had to score on 4th and goal with about 5-6 minutes left in the 4th quarter. Blake Horvath fumbles the ball at the end zone. It gets punched out. Eli Heidenreich jumps on it. Then on 4th and goal, he catches the touchdown that puts Navy up 1 point. Incredible game. It's what it's all about with college football.
Saves the game and then wins the game.
Oh, what a flex. And then you get to sing second.
We should open the year every year with Army-Navy.
You can't play this game in Ireland, though, so that's a problem.
Or Brazil.
Yeah, I can't do that. Our second game, this was our Sicko Bowl of the week. And for the first time, the Sicko game / bowl of the week does not hit. This game was not competitive. Washington dog walks the Broncos 38-10.
This was not close, start to finish. This was a Washington team that as recently as the beginning of November had legitimate playoff aspirations. So they might have been taking out some anger on the Broncos.
My hot take is Mad Dog, as we should call him. He's a game manager. He's a decent QB. He's not really going to win you games. He's just going to keep you in games. And that's why he was such a good complement to Genty last year, as Genty could carry the load and then Madsen could make the throws that were necessary to keep the defense honest. But if it's all put on Madsen, he's not going to carry you.
That's valid. And we had comments asking what's going to happen with Washington in this dominant win. They will be rewarded for this victory in our final rankings that will be released after the national championship. So we are going to preview these bowls and playoff games using the Week 16 S&D 50 rankings. And then following the entire playoff, we will show where everyone lines up 1 through 50 after the national championship. Before we preview bowl games, we have to talk about the FCS playoff, the 2014 playoff that is beautiful, that makes sense. And our two semifinal matchups are Illinois State and Villanova, Montana and Montana State. Illinois State beat UC Davis to get to the semifinal on Saturday. Villanova upsets Tarleton State and now hosts Illinois State for a semifinal. Montana State crushes Stephen F. Austin. Montana beats our beloved South Dakota Coyotes.
And I wish I looked this stat up before the show, but I wonder when the last time we've had a semifinals in the FCS playoffs where there has not been a Dakota school. Now, we still have a Missouri Valley school with Illinois State carrying the load for the conference. The Missouri Valley Conference is the SEC of the FCS, and this would be like Vanderbilt being the team that's carrying the load with Illinois State doing it right here. Illinois State game, yet again, 3 road wins in the FCS playoffs. Their quarterback, Rittenhouse, he needs to get a bigger helmet. I mentioned this last week. I don't know how they're going to fit any more stickers on that helmet. Please.
Gonna have to put it over the warning signs.
Yes, yeah. Or somehow they need to find some more square footage on that helmet. This is their first time Illinois State has been in the semis since 2014. The most interesting stat I've found on the Redbirds is they are undefeated on the road against FCS teams this year. They did lose one road game to the Oklahoma Sooners to start the year off, but undefeated on the road against FCS teams, 8-0. So here they are going on the road once again to Villanova. I would look out, Villanova, for these Redbirds.
They've been all over in this tournament. North Dakota State, UC Davis, and now Villanova. That is some serious travel and some serious mileage.
Yeah, but Villanova, speaking of them, they're facing this is another red hot team in the playoffs. Villanova is the 12 seed coming in, and they just went and took down 4th seeded Tarleton, who only had 1 loss on the year. The same Tarleton team that beat Army earlier this year. They started off down by 14, got down quick, came back, won it 26-21 in a thriller. And how this game ended was crazy. Tarleton was driving with less than 2 minutes left. They're on about the 10-yard line. It was to 4th down. It was like 4th and 4. They could still get a first down to extend the game, but Tarleton's QB drops back to pass. And he has an opening. You see it, it's wide open. He could get that 4 yards, get the first down, extend the drive, get yourself a fresh set of downs. But he decides to throw it to the end zone, throws it to the end zone. Receiver comes down with it, called a touchdown. Tarleton celebrating. They just think they took the lead with less than 2 minutes left. They review the play. The receiver did not get a foot down. Touchdowns reversed. It was 4th down. Ball goes to Villanova. Game over.
Holy smokes.
And one of the most impressive things about Villanova, their head coach, Mark Ferrante, has been coaching with Villanova since 1987. 38 years, and he only became the head coach in 2017. He was literally a position coach, not even a coordinator, a position coach that whole time up to 2017. But now, since taking over Villanova, they had a rough couple years as he first transitioned to him, but he has them consistently winning 8, 9, 10 win game seasons. And this is their first time in the semi since 2010.
That is so awesome.
Montana State. First matchup ever in the semis?
First matchup ever in the playoffs, which is shocking because both these teams are in the FCS playoffs every year. I don't know if the FCS purposely does this or tries to keep them on opposite sides of the bracket. I don't know, but this is their first time in one of the biggest rivalries in the country happening in a playoff setting. Montana State is going to host in Bozeman. The cheapest tickets you can find right now as of Monday night, December 15th, is around $780 to get into this game.
Holy smokes.
Gonna rival some of those on-campus CFP games.
Seriously.
So, and this game took place just a month ago where Montana State went to Montana, handed Montana their only loss of the year in just a 31-28 game. It was back and forth. So now Montana State gets to host. We'll see what kind of effect that takes place, but this is the 125th meeting in the Brawl of the Wild.
No trophy, though, for the winner this time.
Yeah, no trophy exchange. It will exchange hands, but a trip to the Natty, I think I'd rather take that.
Absolutely.
Now, I just went and looked at the college football playoff rankings for the FBS. So these matchups would be like, for the seeds that they are, Montana State. Montana State's the 2 seed, Montana's the 3 seed. So if you go and compare that to the FCS playoffs, that would be like Ohio State and Georgia meeting up in the semis. So 2 of the big dogs that people could see in the semis. Now, if you look at the Redbirds and Villanova, you have the 17 seed and the 12 seed. If you compared it to the FBS rankings, it would be Arizona versus BYU. Just to give you an idea of what could play out if a 24 true team playoff format was put into place. So Arizona, BYU playing in the semis. That's 2 teams that went down to double overtime earlier this year. It'd be cool to see them face each other in a playoff setting. So just to show the upsets that happen, it's beautiful.
Before we preview each of these bowl games, Jacob called me today and said, we need to spice this up. And I agreed. And so what we have done is we have started a 2025 S&D 50 Bowl Challenge. The link to fill this out is in the description of this video. We will close entries on 12/19, but it's simple. Free to enter. Enter in who you think is going to win. Whoever gets the most games right, we will send you a $50 Amazon gift card. What we're going to do today is preview each bowl, and we're going to each pick our winners. Our first bowl of the week happens to also be the Sicko Bowl of the week with a rating differential of 9.6. We have Old Dominion, South Florida. This game is being played in Orlando, the Cure Bowl. This is going to be a great game.
I'm pretty stoked about this because I feel like ODU has been overlooked by the national media at large. And you can kind of see why. I mean, their best win is against Troy, who won the Sun Belt West, but, you know, was pretty well outclassed by James Madison in the final. This is an Old Dominion team that held Indiana to, I want to say, a 1-score game or like a 10 or 14 point game against an Indiana team on the road. Old Dominion hasn't been tested a ton, but I think that Old Dominion has a lot that they can prove in this matchup against South Florida.
It's 2 teams, like you said. Old Dominion has been overlooked. South Florida has been overhyped by the national media. Both still quality teams. And the only disappointing part about this matchup is both starting quarterbacks will not be playing, which is a big factor.
I feel like that should carry a penalty. If we're gonna pay players millions of dollars to play for the season, I think postseason should be included in that. There should be an expectation.
South Florida will also be without their head coach. It is marked as the Sicko Bowl of the week, and we have to be very careful when looking at these games. We will say it now, and we say it forever. These ratings are not predictive. They do not look at who is playing at quarterback. It does not look at who's coaching now.
This is not a predictive model, but the resumes of these 2 teams are quite similar overall.
All right, Jacob, we'll give you the honors. Who do you have winning this game?
Old Dominion. The overlooked team is going to come out and they're going to be firing even without their starting QB. I think South Florida is a little disappointed that they're not in the playoffs and that Their head coach is gone. They're in a time of transition. I just think this game means more to Old Dominion.
I've actually got South Florida in this one. I think that they have a lot of talent. I really like Old Dominion, but I think the American feels like as a conference, they've got a lot to prove. They lost some marquee coaches. They're still the cream of the crop when it comes to G5 conferences. I think it'll be a close one, like a one-score game. Could come down to a last drive by either team, but I think I've got South Florida winning this one.
My pick, Old Dominion. This is a team that was not able to play in the conference title game because they're in the same division as James Madison. I think Old Dominion, because they have their head coach, that matters. Give me Old Dominion. From our most competitive bowl game of the week to one of our least competitive bowl games of the week. With a rating differential of 869 points, we have the 68 Ventures Bowl in Mobile, Alabama. Louisiana, Delaware.
I'll be straight up. I have not watched a lot of the Louisiana Raging Cajun football this year, but look, number 53, they are on the brink of cracking the top 50 here at 6-6. But you got Delaware 6-6 as well at number 118. Delaware with a win against UConn. An impressive win. I think Delaware's been a team that's been up and down. And so it's just a matter of fact which Delaware team comes out, the one that beat UConn or the one that lost to Sam Houston. Because I do believe if the one that beat UConn comes out, they can go step for step with the Raging Cajuns.
And let's not forget that this Delaware team, it is their first year in the FBS. They shouldn't have been in a bowl game. I mean, they deserve it. Technically, they weren't supposed to be in a bowl game. They only got into this bowl game because there weren't enough bowl eligible teams this year. And honestly, with all the teams turning down opportunities, I love that Delaware got a chance regardless. I love to see it. And I think that they're eager and excited for this opportunity in year one.
Jacob, who do you have?
Do you have to even ask? The Delaware Fighting Blue Hens all the way. I think it's the team that beat UConn that comes out in this game.
I am right there with you. I think Delaware is eager for this bowl game in a way that a lot of other teams won't be. I've got the Blue Hens winning what effectively amounts to a road game. Mobile, Alabama is very close for Louisiana. I still think Delaware wins it.
I'm going Louisiana Raging Cajuns. I watched that entire Arkansas State game when it was the sicko game of the week. This Louisiana team does not go away. I expect them to live up to their rating and rank of 53. The Xbox Bowl. This is Thursday, 12/18, 9 Eastern. Speaking of those Arkansas State Red Wolves, here they are playing Missouri State in their first ever bowl game.
You know, with the Xbox Bowl, I was watching some Missouri State social media stuff, and I guess every single player gets given an Xbox. And I watched that moment when the players got given an Xbox, and I literally saw two Missouri State players stand up, hug each other, and jump up and down screaming for joy as they were about to receive their Xbox.
I mean, I would have loved to receive a free Xbox in college. That would have gone so hard.
The trophy for the Xbox Bowl is an Xbox on the trophy.
Flippin' awesome.
If I'm not mistaken, this is the first year for the Xbox Bowl, right?
It's the replacement of the Bahamas Bowl.
Good replacement, if you ask me. Like, the Bahamas Bowl was cool, but I like the Xbox Bowl.
You'll get more fans to the Xbox Bowl for sure.
And just when I think about a bowl game, and maybe it's because it was like the PlayStation Fiesta Bowl for a long time, I could see the Xbox Bowl becoming a bigger deal over time. You get a big name attached to a bowl game, it could bring life into an element of the sport that I think is on the decline.
Like the Pop-Tarts Bowl or the Mayo Bowl.
Yeah. I can't wait till we preview the Duke's Mayo Bowl.
All right, Jacob, you're first.
Once again, give me the first year FBS team, Missouri State Bears. They're going to come out. They're playing hungry. I think Arkansas State has won a lot of close games by the skin of their teeth, so give me Missouri State all day on this.
Give me the fighting Joneses of Jonesboro. I like the Arkansas State Red Wolves to win this game.
I have Missouri State winning this game. If it's a battle of who wants it more, Missouri State, first time, let's go. All right, from one darling to the next. In the Myrtle Beach Bowl with a rating differential of 13.6, we have the battle of two conference champions, the Western Michigan Broncos out of the MAC and the Kennesaw State Fightin' Planks out of Conference USA. We love both these teams, but we especially love the Fighting Planks.
It's crazy that this isn't the sicko game of the week. It's 13.6 points is their rating difference. Yes, so close. I think this is one of the best bowl games of the whole slate right here. You know, who doesn't want to see one conference champion versus another conference champion?
There's a world where we expand to a 2014 playoff, and they just say that all 10 conference champions are going to be in, and they make the G5 conference champions play in the first round to effectively turn that into a playing game. And this is an actual playoff game, and the winner gets to go play like Notre Dame or Ole Miss or something. And honestly, that would be awesome. This would be so great. It's great as a bowl game. Could be a playoff game down the road.
Jacob, who do you have?
Give me the Western Michigan Broncos. I think the MAC is going to flex on Conference USA.
Taking the Planks. I like Kennesaw State. I think they've had an incredible turnaround this year, and I think that they will keep on planking.
Give me the Western Michigan Broncos. It breaks my heart to say so, but Brock Lowry is a monster, and I think he will prove to the country why he is the MAC champion that he is.
And no word on Lowry entering the transfer portal. So Western Michigan looks like they're going to keep their coach and their quarterback.
In the Gasparilla Bowl, we have number 64 Memphis playing number 46 NC State with a rating differential of 199 rating points.
You know, this game feels like a tale of two teams. Memphis was on the rise through the start of the year, and they have cratered. They are right near their season low right now in both rank and rating. NC State, meanwhile, had a rough patch in the middle of the season and has slowly clawed their way back up. They're looking better now than they have since beating Virginia in like week 3.
But I would argue, yes, play for Memphis has gone down, but recent news, they hired Charles Huff as the new head coach after Arkansas hired away their head coach. And I would argue that Memphis upgraded their coach by bringing in Charles Huff from Southern Miss.
Spicy.
Okay.
I love looking at these two resumes side by side in this graphic. Thank you, Spencer, for making these. Both the best wins for each of these teams are pretty good wins. Beating Virginia and South Florida, great. Worst losses, almost identical. Number 105 and number 106, they're worst losses for each of them, respectively. These teams are very similar. It will be which team shows up. Will it be the version of the team that can beat South Florida or Virginia, or will it be the version of the team that loses to Virginia Tech or UAB? Jacob, who do you have?
If you guys remember, I was high on NC State to start the year, especially after they beat Virginia. They had that rough slump, like you said, Spencer, but I am high on them again. Give me NC State all day in this matchup.
Yeah, you know, Jacob, I think the only team you were higher on than NC State in the ACC was Cal.
Yes, you're right. I was rooting for an NC State Cal ACC championship game. That was my dream.
But I agree with your take. I think the Wolfpack wins it here.
It's a clean sweep. Give me the Wolfpack. Continuity at coach matters. Our final non-playoff bowl game that we're going to pick today is the famous Idaho Potato Bowl in Boise, Idaho. This is Monday, 12/22, 2 Eastern. With a rating differential of 62, we have number 56 Washington State and number 65 Utah State.
Jacob, are these two teams both going to be in the Pac-12, or is Utah State staying put in the Mountain West?
They will both be. So this is a preview of a conference matchup that will take place next year. So two future conference opponents getting a little taste of each other before they join conferences.
Love to see it.
Bronco Mendenhall gets Utah State to a bowl game in his first season. When was the last time Utah State was in a bowl game?
They only went 1 year without being in a bowl game. They had that kind of train wreck of a season last year where the new athletic director comes in, fires Blake Anderson off of a technicality in July just before the season. So they have an interim head coach the whole year. And just a train wreck of a season. So Bronco comes into kind of this debacle of a team and situation and gets things cleaned up. That athletic director has actually since left, didn't stick around long there in Logan. And if you look at Utah State, they lost two heartbreakers, two games that honestly they were in full control of late in the fourth and had an opportunity to win against both Boise State and UNLV. Had they won both those games, which very likely should have happened, they would have been in the Mountain West title game. But here they are instead sitting at 6-6 and in the Idaho Potato Bowl.
Who's coaching Washington State in the bowl game?
Interim coach Jesse Bobbitt, who is headed to Iowa State as well as the defensive coordinator. It was just announced today, here Monday the 15th, that he's also headed over with Jimmy Rogers, but he says he's sticking around to coach the bowl game, and then he'll head off to Ames. And a quick note on Washington State, just a few days ago, they announced their new head coach. Kirby Moore, the brother of Kellen Moore, has been the offensive coordinator at Missouri. Your Missouri Tigers, Spencer, is now gets plucked away by the Washington State Cougars. So we got Kellen Moore coaching the New Orleans Saints, head coach there. Now we got head coach brother Kirby Moore in Wazoo.
Jacob, who are you picking?
Give me Utah State. They got a senior quarterback in Bryson Barnes, who's very experienced, a former Utah Ute who transferred over to Utah State. I like what he brings. I think Utah State, like I said, should have had a couple more wins this year, but let him slip away. I don't think they let this one slip away. Aggies will win this one.
I'll take the Cougars. I think that they have played a lot of really good football this year. That 6-6 was very close to being an incredibly impressive 9-3 with quality wins on the road that just eluded them. You know, I'm thinking about Ole Miss and Virginia in particular. While their worst loss was Oregon State by technicality, the big blowout to North Texas rattles my faith in them a little bit, but they've done a lot better on the last stretch of the year, including some great losses. So give me Washington State.
I would love to pick Utah State, but I would watch the UNLV and Boise State games for Utah State, and it was too tragic both times. My heart was shattered twice. So give me Washington State. Let's pick some first round CFP playoff games. We have Alabama going to Norman to play Oklahoma. This game is Friday, 8 Eastern, rating differential of 152.9. If you've been keeping up with our videos, these are two teams that we question their validity of even being in the playoff at all, but we do expect this game to be competitive because they are still equally rated or similarly rated.
Yeah, it's the battle of the two overrated playoff teams, in my opinion.
Now, here's what I'll say for Oklahoma. I mean, you see their worst loss was against Texas, who we have as number 8. We technically have them as a playoff snub. But, you know, go listen to last week's show. We're not going to get into that here. Oklahoma has played really, really good defensive football. No one's questioning that. I think the big question is, can they do it on offense? Then again, against Alabama, I don't know that they need to. They already won on the road. Like, are they going to be able to do the same at home? Or does Alabama put it into another gear and show that the Crimson Tide should never be overlooked? I think it comes down to John Mateer. Does he play with confidence, or does he play like he has in some of their more nerve-wracking games down the stretch?
I think it comes down to actually still the Oklahoma defense. We know they'll show up, they'll play. They're one of the best in the country, but can the Oklahoma defense score a touchdown? That's what I think it comes down to. If they score a touchdown, they win. If they don't, Alabama wins.
Can Alabama run the ball against Oklahoma? They could not run the ball against Georgia, -3 rushing yards. Can they move the ball on the ground against the Sooners?
I still can't get over the fact that Alabama has a game at all, at any point, let alone a conference title game, where the Alabama Crimson Tide finished with negative yards on the ground. Just is one of the most mind-boggling stats of the century to me.
Now, fortunately for Alabama, Kalen DeBoer says he's staying put at Alabama. He's not interested in the Michigan job. So there is some continuity there. Jacob, who you picking?
This one's been hard. I've been back and forth on this one. And, like Spencer said, this is the two teams that we wonder even if they should be in the playoffs. But I have a bitter heart towards this game, knowing the snubs that took place. RIP Notre Dame. But I will take Oklahoma because they're at home, and I do believe that defense does get a touchdown.
I am right there with you. I think that the Sooners get it done at home. I think it's an ugly game. I think it's a low-scoring game. Unless you're really into defense, and then it's a beautiful game. But I think this is going to be a defensive show. I don't think Ty Simpson is that guy, and so I think that the Sooners win this at home. I would take the under. Right now, that line is 40.5. You better believe I'd bet the house and the farm to get that line. I think that this is an under game if I've ever seen one.
I'm going to zag. Give me the Crimson Tide. I don't feel confident in it. Like Jacob said, I struggle. I do not know who's going to win this game. I don't have a lot of conviction. But seeing the way Alabama won at South Carolina, though ugly, they can win ugly games. And lest we forget, Georgia is the number 2 team in the S&D 50. Of course, Alabama gets beat by Georgia like that because they're the 15th best team in the country. But give me Alabama. Our next game. Another team we question the validity of, but they're in the playoff anyway. Miami going to Kyle Field against Texas A&M. The rating differential 63.6. Saturday, noon Eastern.
This is the anti-Notre Dame game. Not just because Miami got in and Notre Dame didn't, but I mean just look at that. Best win for each team, Notre Dame. Single score. This is the antithesis of Notre Dame being in the playoffs, is having the teams, the only two teams to beat them play in the first round.
I do believe the committee got it right by ranking Texas A&M as the lowest one-loss team. I think they got, the 7th seed in the playoffs. The S&D is showing them at number 9. So deserving to be in, but yes, I go back and forth in my head as well. Miami hit that slump in the middle of the year where they dropped a couple ACC games. Really did not look impressive at all, but then they came back strong in the end. But I still wonder how good Miami is, because we learned through the S&D this year that the ACC is very weak, and definitely the weakest of the Power Four by far. And so this one's another one where I don't know if we really know a lot about the winner of this game, to be honest. I think the winner of this game is not going to have a fun time against Ohio State. Give me A&M. I know I just got done talking about how they're the weakest one-loss team. They still are only a one-loss team out of the SEC. I hate that the committee gave an at-large spot to an ACC team. That is just shameful, disrespectful to the Big 12, and disrespectful to Notre Dame. So I'm taking A&M in this one.
Give me the hottest team in the country, not called Notre Dame or Indiana. It's Miami. I think that they realized that they goofed up in the middle of the year and they finished on a heater. They were playing defense. Malachi Toney is incredible on offense. I think that Miami's going to win. Personally, I don't even think it's going to be that competitive. And while I do think that Miami is probably going to lose in the next round, I think it's going to be a lot closer than people think. So give me the Hurricanes to win round one.
To me, this is Marcel Reed, Carson Beck. Are we getting the best version or the worst version? Because at their worst, both of them are atrocious and can throw 5 interceptions. And at their best, we could argue there's no one better. I think Kyle Field will be rocking. I don't feel super confident, but give me the Aggies. The 12th man gets it done somehow, some way. Tulane going back to Oxford to play Ole Miss. The rating differential is 440. This game is on TNT, which tells you what TV networks think of this game. Jacob, do you think this game deserves to be on TNT, or do you think Tulane can keep it close?
I think Tulane can keep it close. I think the score that is reflected from their regular season matchup was not as close as the game was. I think there's just a few plays gone haywire for the Green Wave that if they can reel those back in, I do believe they can put together a game plan that can keep it close and hold with Ole Miss.
Jacob, who are you picking?
Oh, this is so hard for me, guys.
G5 Sicko Dumb on the line.
Yes. It is on the line. It is on the line. Oh my gosh. I believe this is going to be a close game. I truly believe it will be close. John Summerall is a heck of a coach. But I think Ole Miss is going to be fired up to be rallying around Pete Golding. I think there might be something special brewing with that whole Lane Kiffin leaving chip on their shoulders, Pete Golding getting Ole Miss doing the right thing and just making him the full-time head coach, no interim tag at all. And because of that, I'm taking Tulane. Give me my G5 still. give me John Summerall making his SEC debut with the Tulane Green Wave, baby.
You had me.
I am sick of this G5 doesn't belong in the playoff conversation. You know what? There are first round blowouts last year. If you look at all the games, almost all of them were blowouts. So don't tell me the G5s doesn't belong because SEC gets blown out too. Let's go Green Wave.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm running the graphic right now for the picks. I was so ready to leave Ole Miss up as your pick. I did not. That got me. I was like ready to move it, and you caught me with that one. I'm gonna do something completely insane, and I believe in John Summerall. I'm picking Tulane as well. I think that they saw teams worse than they were. Looking at you, Washington State, come into Oxford and do better than they did. And I think that they're going to draw up a mean game plan. I think Ole Miss is going to be resting on their laurels. They have a chip on their shoulder, but you know what that chip is for? It's for round 2. They're going to be overlooking this game, and Tulane is going to capitalize with an uppercut. We're going to have a G5 team advance in the playoffs for the first time.
They say in Oxford that they win the pregame so they can win the real game on the field. Give me Ole Miss. Stop the nonsense. This team was ranked number 1 in the S&D 50 at one point this year. They have not dropped below 7. This is the low. Trinidad Chambliss can absolutely sling it. It might be close. I agree it could be close. This is a 17.5-point spread. Give me Ole Miss.
Hey, I mean, this Tulane team is one Alamo Dome crowd noise loss from being 12-1. So let's see if they can get their act together.
I do know that beating a team twice is hard, so we will see. Our other G5 team in a playoff first round matchup, we have number 14 James Madison going to Eugene, Oregon to take on the number 6 Oregon Ducks. The rating differential, only 344.8 points.
It's a little closer.
Bob Chesney making his Big Ten debut, going to the West Coast to take on his future rival, Oregon.
What's the line on this game? Like 21? I think Vegas is underselling James Madison's chances in this game. And I get it, it is a road game. And where you might typically add 3 points for a typical road game, I feel like you've got to add like 6 or 7 for Autzen Stadium, especially for an East Coast team traveling that far. But I think that this game is going to be a lot closer than the media and Vegas is giving the Dukes credit for. They earned their way into this playoff. They probably had a case to get in above Tulane. And, I think that the committee disrespected them from day one. But I love to see them here. Can't wait to see what game plan they draw up for the Oregon Ducks. Dukes and the Ducks.
Dukes versus Ducks. Jacob, who do you have?
I've followed James Madison for years now, being a lover of the FCS playoffs. And one thing I've noticed with James Madison throughout the years is they do not become phased by heading to the West Coast. They perform in the West Coast. They perform well, no matter where they play. And so for that reason, I am taking Bob Chesney in his debut and the Dukes and the Sun Belt and 2 G5 teams to advance in the college football playoffs.
Spencer.
I love me some Bob Chesney. I love James Madison. Let's go with the Oregon Ducks to wipe the floor with them. I think Oregon wins. And honestly, I don't think they cover, but I think that it's a bad beat. I think that that they could cover and don't. I think it'll be competitive for about 3 quarters, and I think Oregon just has too much talent and speed. They're playing at home in front of a hyped crowd, stoked to be on TNT. It's going to be a great showing, and I think the Ducks will beat the Dukes.
September 23rd, 2023. Dan Lanning, quote, Cinderella's story is over. They're fighting for clicks. We're fighting for wins. Now, James Madison is not fighting for clicks. This team is legitimate, but the Cinderella story ends here. Dan Lanning has to avenge what happened last year in the Rose Bowl. That cannot be repeated here. Oregon gets it done. Thank you for following along tonight with each of our bowl picks. Spencer, Jacob, and I will be entering all of our picks into this S&D 50 Bowl Challenge. We welcome any and all of you to enter. Have your mom fill it out, your dog fill it out, your child fill it out. Winner gets a $50 gift card, no strings attached. Just pick winners. Spencer, thank you so much for all of these graphics. It is a ton of work to put that much information on per slide. Thank you for all you do.
Hey, it's a ton of work, but it's fun to get to dive into the details of these teams. We love doing it for you. If you love diving into the details, be sure to come find us on Patreon. As we wind down the season, give us feedback on if you think there are some topics or things we should tackle. Coming out of bowl season in the playoffs, we're going to review by conference what happened over the course of the year. Eventually, we'll get around to previewing the upcoming season after we find out about recruiting classes and transfer portals. But if you've got stuff you want us to dive into, maybe an old season, you say, hey, how does your model look at the 2007 season or something like that? Let us know in the comments. Reach out to us by email. Come find us on Patreon. Give us that feedback. We love putting this together, but we love when we can direct it towards what you guys are interested in hearing about too. So let us know.
Jacob, thank you for being here. Thanks for bringing in the FCS notes, the G5 notes. I love every minute with you.
Oh, and I love every minute of being able to talk about the beauties of the underdogs in college football and why that is what makes this sport so beautiful. But Andrew, how do I enter this? You talked about entering it. How do I enter this bowl challenge?
Great question. In the description of this video, there is a link to the Google form where you can click on it. The Google form will open in a new tab. Fill out your picks. You're good to go.
Heck yeah, I'm excited to get all my picks in. You heard some of them. And I am just anxious to see these G5s perform in the playoffs this weekend. And I just cross my fingers that one of them wins because like I said earlier, I am sick of this narrative that the G5 doesn't belong. If they don't belong, then the G5 needs to become their own group. You either give them an automatic spot or they branch off. So pick your poison, Power 4.
Thank you to each and every one of you who listen. There are so many of you who have reached out and said such kind words to us of how much you enjoy the show, what this means to you. We can't thank you enough. We've now crossed into the hundreds of thousands of views. That is something we never thought would be possible. So thank you so much to every single one of you. Share this with your friends. Again, it's a great way to share it. Say you want a $50 Amazon gift card, fill this out. It's free to do. Go for it. We hope you have a great week as you prep for Christmas. Get those gifts purchased. Do it early. It is the worst when you're on Christmas Eve or Christmas Adam running through the mall trying to look for something for your significant other. Not that I've done that from personal experience, but I have. And we hope you have an amazing week. Take care, everybody.
Bye.